Hello, how are we doing? This is Battlefield 2042, and I believe we can kind of all agree that this is the end of Battlefield 2042's life. I mean that in a few senses. Roadkill? Roadkill? No, not quite. Roadkill. No, not quite. I mean that in a few senses. So, I mean that... Another one around here. Roadkill! So I'm getting distracted. Oh, I'm getting flanked all over the shop here. Yeah. Right. Sorry, I'll try and say that again. This is the end of Battlefield 2042's life cycle in a few ways. First of all, surely there will be no more updates. This is the end of Battlefield 2042 in terms of content. Battlefield 6 releases next week. He's going to absolutely mess me up if he sees me.
70 meters from a position.
But he didn't, so it's all good. So yeah, in terms of content, but also I mean in terms of like people playing it. Oh, should be my kill. Because Battlefield 5, even though it was poorly received and kind of panned at the time, has quite a big following still. People like it, people still play, people enjoy it, there's things to enjoy about it. Obviously Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4, and to a certain extent Battlefield 3 even still was really popular. And they still have huge player bases, and I think they always will. They have a special place in people's hearts. Would you leave me alone, lad, over there? You're so far away. I'm trying to kill people from up here with my overpowered wingsuit. Stop! You're not going to kill me. Whereas I just don't think this game does. So... Huh. Where'd you come from? I don't think Battlefield 2042 has the same pull that those other games do. So I think kind of once it's not the current Battlefield game, people will leave it alone. That's my guess. It's always struggled for players since it came out. The player count has always been down there. It's always been low. Did I not get any hit points there? Mad. Have I killed anybody yet? Yeah, just one. And I think that's not going to get any better. Unless Battlefield 6 is a total flop. A total flop, then I think this game's player count will collapse quite significantly. I think no one's really that interested in it. Even if it is fun, which I think it is, I think that it will be abandoned. So we can consider this. Sorry, I was looking at my phone there. I was looking at my phone, not the screen. We can consider this to be the end of Battlefield 2042. Oh, how did he get me? Oh, I'm furious about that. Oh, right. Okay. That's really annoying. That's really frustrating me. So yeah, this is Battlefield 2042 a bit true. We've got a week left of the new Battlefield game. Unless it's an absolute shit show, then yeah, this is the end of Battlefield 2042. So let's talk about Battlefield 2042. How do we think it went? Obviously, it was massively hyped when it was released, or before it was released. There was huge marketing that went into it, really good marketing. They did some great trailers for it. It was like, kind of like the trailers were along the lines of like, Battlefield is back. It went away for Battlefield 5, but now it's back. It's like, it's going to be Battlefield 4 all over again. Everyone's going to be happy. Don't know where those bullets came from. I could hear some. There you go. Did we kill those guys down there? Yeah. But then it wasn't back. That's effectively what happened. They didn't deliver on the promises they made. They were promising this absolute amazing Battlefield chaos. which didn't happen. It was kind of clear that it wasn't going to happen from a lot of the leaks that were going on beforehand. But then once everyone saw the beta, it was like, oh, this might not actually be what they were promising. And then obviously by release, you know, the game was panned. People said it was the worst Battlefield game ever, maybe one of the worst games ever. And they were kind of right. Why were they right? It had terrible maps, huge open maps. Whoa. You absolutely nailed me. The RPT, you don't see that very often. Huge open maps, 128 players, which hadn't been like properly optimized. It had huge performance issues. It had bugs. It had a lack of content. It abandoned the class system. It didn't know what it wanted to be. Was it an extraction shooter? Was it a core Battlefield? Unlocked weapons, and only 22 of them at that. Portal was underdeveloped. There was just like the problems were endless. I probably missed a load there. But I think the main problem for me was the maps. Kind of all the other stuff, yeah, bugs can be fixed, and a lot of them were quite quickly. Just so much going on there. But the maps made it unplayable. There was nothing you could do to enjoy those maps, particularly on 128 player breakthrough, but on Conquest as well. Everything was just too open. Vehicles were dominant. They reigned supreme. There were huge balance issues. And you were just constantly, they call it a running simulator, running across open terrain and getting killed. I think everybody's KD was 1 unless you were a vehicle spammer, in which case it was like 50. Anyway, that's a good shot. That's annoying to get that kill. Oh, I did. So after it released, it was highly panned. Everyone hated it. So what did they do? They did nothing. They had 6 months where they just said nothing. They released a couple of little updates, but they left a load of the balance issues. I remember, like, I think the PKP and the Boris turret were massively OP, and they just left it. They just left it. It was horrific. And the M5C Bolt and the Nightbird, it was horrific to play. Complete silence. They sacked everybody. They got on a whole new leadership team. But in terms of actually changing the game, they did nothing. Oh, there's two. Oh, didn't realise that. And they delayed Season 1. And I think they delayed Season 1 because Season 1 map was Exposure, and I assume it was just like all the release maps. It was like Hourglass, it was like... oh, it was 2. It was like Hourglass, it was like Breakaway, there were these huge maps. In this game, they decided somewhere along the line that bigger was better, which kind of... That is Battlefield's like core thing, that everything's big and it's amazing, but it's got to be done right. And it wasn't done right. It didn't work. And just creating bigger maps isn't always the best way to go. They saw that in BF5 with Hamada, but they doubled down on it. We had Breakaway with Hourglass, they were huge. I assume Exposure was going to be the same. So they effectively had to rework that map on the fly before they released it. And then, of course, they started to rework all the other maps to bring them into line. So that sort of meant that all that work from the maps team... oh. Christ. Was being spent reworking maps, so we didn't get a lot of content. So the content started to come with Season 1, and it was okay. The content we actually got, I actually always thought, was good. I thought most of the new maps played pretty well. Most of the new weapons were kind of fun. Obviously, you always get the occasional ridiculously OP weapon to get people engaged, but I think in general, the content we got was pretty good, but there just wasn't enough of it. We didn't get enough content. There was a huge number of issues to sort. There were constant rebalancing things. Like everything in the game has been OP at some point. Like all the specialists have been OP at a certain point. Yeah, McKay reigned supreme for years, and now he's kind of average. Sundance was amazing at a certain point with those grenades that she had. It was unbelievable.
90 meters from my position.
Server's lagging. Angel could give armor to anybody he wanted and give himself armor at any time. So he was OP for a bit, and now he's useless. I guess Falk's always been pretty good. Falk's always been decent. Boris's turret has been through so many balance passes. It's unbelievable. Yeah, like they've all been through. Like, and in terms of the guns, like at the start, there were a couple of LMGs that were OP. The NTW was OP. The M5A3 was OP. And that's changed loads. Like then for a while, the assault rifles had a massive headshot marker, so they were way better than basically any other gun as long as you hit them in the head. All the new weapons have been released, have been OP. The BSVM was probably the most OP gun I've ever seen when it came out. So we've had so much of that, and it's taken them so long to sort of work it out. I think what it comes down to a certain extent, is a lot of people working from home. Oh, footsteps. I heard footsteps. Told you. Told you.
Reloading.
A lot of people working from home post-COVID, so I think that tore the direction of the game in a lot of different ways. And I think a lot of there was just a lack of cohesion. I knew he was there. That was so silly. Lack of cohesion in the game, and I think that contributed. The management wasn't there. So they had a lot of problems to fix. I think so. That's all. That's all the criticisms I have of Battlefield 2042, and kind of I've been quite calm about them, talking about them, but that doesn't really do it justice for how bad it was, how bad that launch and that post-launch period were. It was awful. And I think a lot of people thought that this game was dead on arrival, and that would be it. They would fulfill their obligation, which they were obligated because people like me, suckers, bought the premium pass where you were promised 4 seasons worth of content. I think a lot of people thought they would do those 4 seasons, kill it, focus on a new Battlefield game. There was all these things about the skeleton crew, wasn't there? And then that would be it. But to be fair, it wasn't. They did, I don't know how many seasons they did, 7? 7 seasons of content, plus this little mini season we've got going on at the moment. They moved the portal maps over, they did the vault weapons to get more weapons in the game. I think they did sort of commit to it. Obviously, they had to fix the existing maps. I don't know whether they'd have been better off making an additional 8 base maps rather than trying to fix the 8 current ones. So we could have just had 8 shit maps, 8 good maps, plus, the 7 other good maps that we got with the season. So I don't know if that would have been better. But I think either way, the damage was already done either way. Like, there's not a perfect way of doing it. You could have argued to do one thing or argued to do the other. It didn't really matter. The damage was done
70 meters from
prior to
Our troops just took Sector Bravo.
prior to the game coming out. I think they did a good job reworking the maps. I think they are actually all pretty fun to play now, particularly on 128 players. I think that they kind of feel like they're designed for it. I'm going to try and kill him with my sidearm. Didn't get the sidearm out. It's annoying. So yeah, I actually think they did a really good job with that. I thought that was well done from DICE. Like, in the position that they were in, they did a good job. They did such a bad job making the game and releasing it. But I think everything they've done since then has been better. I think there's a new team in there. There's probably a few inexperienced devs who are now picking up experience, which, is no excuse. They're a massive AAA studio. Why don't you have experienced devs?
Watching your progress.
But I think the way it's been going has been great. And for the past couple of years now, the player count's been steady. You've been able to find a round. There's been plenty going on in the game. The content's been coming, if not, flying through. And I think it's a fun game. And I maybe not everybody agrees with me on this, but I think it's always been a fun game. I've always had fun playing Battlefield 2042 for one reason or another. But I think now it's a really fun, functional game. Like, it's not torture to play. The balance is pretty good, where it really hasn't been between vehicles and whoa. He didn't jump out of that, did he? No. Okay. There's a lot of them here. Yeah, the balance between vehicles and infantry is good. The balance between sort of PC and console is better. It was horrific at the start. I think, from what I understand on PC, a lot of the performance has improved. Yeah, like I think it's in a reasonable state at the moment, which yeah, kind of is incredible from where it came from. But the point is that it shouldn't have been like that to begin with, and they cannot make that mistake with Battlefield 6. So an enemy, it is an enemy little turret. Yeah, they cannot make that mistake again, and I don't think they will. I played the beta, I've seen all the leaks. It seems like the game will not be perfect because it's what is, but it looks like a good Battlefield game in a good state. And yeah, you could bang on about they're turning it into COD or whatever, but that's always opinions, and that's fine. Does the game work? Is the game functional? Is it a Battlefield game? Yes, 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 and yes. So I think they have learned those lessons. But yeah, like, I mean, repeat the same point over and over again. Those lessons shouldn't have needed to have been learned. There's somebody up here. Oh, there. But they were. So, whilst I think they did an alright job in the end with Battlefield 2042, they made it a passable game. It was not a successful Battlefield game, and I think that will be shown in... Whoa. In the fact that it will now die. I would imagine in a few weeks' time you'll see the player count be very, very low, where it isn't on Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 5. I think those player counts will remain because people love those games. They hold a special place. I think this is a functional game. People just sort of use it to have fun and scratch their Battlefield itch, but it doesn't really give them anything. Stop it. Stop coming up here and camping like me. I haven't really used my wingsuit, have I?
On my mark. 10 meters.
Ah, rubbish. So I think that's probably my sum up of it. It was a terrible effort at making a Battlefield game, but they kind of clawed it back. They brought in the class system, didn't they? Whatever this butchered version of the class system is. I actually didn't mind the specialists so much, and I don't really mind the unlocked weapons. I'm not that opinionated on that. But I do think locked gadgets at least, does make it a little bit more predictable what's going to happen. You haven't got Falk whipping out a grenade launcher or whatever. So that's an improvement that they've made. Yeah, I think that for a lot of this game's life cycle, it's been an objectively bad game. I think now it's an objectively fine game. How are those bullets not hitting that guy? Thank you. And I don't think it will live long in anyone's memory for good reasons. I think only the bad reasons will live long in the memory. But what it has done is it's now bridged the gap to Battlefield 6, which I think will be a success. I think it will be. I don't know. And with DICE you can never trust them. But I think it will be. So, sort of thanks Battlefield 2042 for nothing. Yeah, you won't be missed, but you were there. So that's my obituary on Battlefield 2042. I played a lot of it. I had fun, but I'm kind of glad that it's over. For now. You never know, we might be back. That was an alright round, 23 and 10, given I was just chatting away. Give everybody a GG in the chat. Thank you, and yeah, if you enjoyed that, subscribe, because Battlefield 6 is around the corner. Thank you. Bye.